Good afternoon and welcome to one more webinar from Telric India. So this is a series of webinars that we do every Thursday, and typically it's 3 to 4 p.m. India Standard Time, keeping in mind the APAC region. So today we're going to be looking at an interesting topic that's NativeScript. Basically, we'll go through what exactly is this technology, why you should be worried about this technology, and then how does it work and all those things. So that's the kind of a premise of this webinar, or the intention of this webinar. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Lohit Jian. I'm a technical evangelist with Telric in India, and I'm also a Microsoft MVP. Those are my coordinates. That's my email ID, lohit.nagaraj@telric.com. I'm available on Twitter at the handle Kashyapa, so if you want to tweet to me, you can. Those are some of the links, www.telric.com, our global website, telrichelper.net, where myself and my colleagues, we keep writing a little bit of how do you work with Telric things and all those things. Kashapas.com is my personal blog site, and then I mostly write on ASP.net. So here are some of the questions that I want to put out to all the attendees that we have today. Are you a hybrid app developer and you want to create truly native apps? Meaning you know what is hybrid mobile application development is all about. You have developed hybrid applications, and now you're thinking like, I want to go native. Basically you want to create native applications. So that's one question. Second is, are you a native app developer but you want to expand your scope to other platforms? Maybe some of you are only Android, like you develop day in and day out Android platform application, or you are only iOS platform application developer. So are you looking for expanding your horizon? Are you looking for going beyond this, just the Android or just the iOS? So that's another question that I have for you. Third question I have for you is, are you a web developer and you want to use your existing skills for mobile development? So basically, day in and day out, you're building web applications. So if it's web application, you are working on JavaScript, and then you are working on CSS, and now you want to you think like you want to become a mobile application developer because it's very hard. The mobility sector in the industry is pretty a hot cake now, and then you want to reuse your skills. You want to use your existing skill to become a mobile mobile developer. Right? If these three questions kind of struck you, and then you were like, oh yeah, I have the same question. I have the same question in my mind. So let me introduce you to NativeScript. So NativeScript is a technology. NativeScript is a platform that we are coming. Basically, it sits on our platform, and it's actually an open source technology that we have built. It's basically using NativeScript technology. You can build native apps with JavaScript. You can develop iOS, Android, and Windows Phone from a single code base, right? So that's what NativeScript is all about. So first question that comes to your mind is, okay, what is NativeScript, right? It's basically a runtime for building and running native. I'm stressing this word. This is truly native. There's nothing DOM there or anything. It's the native, closer to the metal that we provide you here. But you're going to be programming using a single JavaScript code base. So a runtime for building and running native iOS, Android, and Windows Phone apps with a single JavaScript code base. So that's what NativeScript is all about. So as you can see here, everybody kind of understands this logo on the left-hand side. So JavaScript, this is how you show it. And the NativeScript logo is what you see in the middle. And then, of course, on the right-hand side, you see the Apple logo, the Android logo, and the Windows logo. So basically what we are saying is, using NativeScript, and you write your JavaScript, and with a single code base, you can actually target Android or iOS or the Windows Phone. At this moment, when I'm presenting this, we are currently go live with Apple and Android platforms. Windows Phone is going to be coming soon, or Windows platform, Windows Universal Platform is going to be coming soon. At this release, we don't have it, and we'll be coming with that later. Again, I want to make a point here. So NativeScript is not PhoneGap. Many people have got confused. The moment I say it's a JavaScript, JavaScript is what you're using as a coding language or your business language. So people think like, oh, it's a PhoneGap or oh, it's DOM. No, it's not PhoneGap. It is not DOM and not even cross-compilation. So not many people know this, but I think Xamarin, what it does is it cross-compiles into different platforms. Like you write in C#, but it cross-compiles your code into that particular Android or iOS platform. So we are not doing that. So why NativeScript? Well, for the simplest fact, everybody likes free. So NativeScript is open source. It's free of charge, available to anyone on GitHub. So if you go there, github.com/NativeScript, you can see the whole NativeScript technology there, the runtime there, the modules, everything can be seen there. And one more thing you can do is go to www.nativescript.org, and then that's actually the home for NativeScript. And it is easy, right? We all know where JavaScript has gone now. JavaScript has gone to places now. It's on the server, it's on the client. So basically, it's easy. We have developed through the JavaScript. We know it, so it's it's easy to code with JavaScript, and then you can style with CSS. So that means you're reusing whatever web skills that you're already know of, and you can create truly native experience using this particular thing. And it is also powerful. So what we do is we abstract out all the UI of the cross-platform UI, and then we give you a seamless single, kind of an what do you call the elements or the controls for you to work with, and then we have abstracted all the UI specific to a platform, and then we just give you one single layer, and then you just program that layer. We will do all the heavy lifting of making sure that we translate that into the platform-specific controls. You can do this in shared business logic and data models, meaning since we are giving you the JavaScript as a language or JavaScript as a layer to write your business logic, be it Android platform or be it iOS platform, you can always reuse the same code base, same code. And that's why I say it's a shared business logic and data model. And not only that, you're not limited to the NativeScript modules or NativeScript runtime, but using the NativeScript runtime, you can actually go access any third-party native libraries also. It's 100% access to native platform. So as you can see here, this is just an example of button which we provide you in our NativeScript module. So we have a module called button in the NativeScript module section or modules layer. So when you program with our NativeScript module called button, internally, what we have done is we have abstracted out all the specific button behaviors of the platform. So if you see here, if you want to just program for iOS, so that is how you do it. So the code says like, you will get the UI button with type, or in the Android you will say just the button, and then in the Windows Phone or the Windows platform you will say system.windows.controls.button. So you can do this way. You can, if you want to go specific to a particular platform, you can go down to the platform and then write this. But notice the the file structure that we have, or file naming that we have. If you say button.ios.js, we know that this specific code needs to be run only on iOS. Button.android.js, we know that this specific JavaScript file needs to be compiled or kind of translate in the Android world itself. So like that. Otherwise, you can always program at a very higher level, and we will provide you what we call as TNS module or Telerik NativeScript module, and then button being one of them. Like that. And it's a standards based. Everybody know we are all waiting for ECMAScript 6. One of the best things that has happened to JavaScript. Many good things are coming in ECMAScript 6, and then if you are on JavaScript and then you have not heard of ECMAScript 6 or 5 or all those things, I would suggest you go brush up what exactly is ECMAScript 5 and 6. So currently we are supporting ECMAScript 5, but we'll slowly, the moment by the days, the ECMAScript 6 becomes a kind of a stable, or it becomes a majority movement in the industry itself. So we will look at getting the ECMAScript 6 also into the NativeScript runtime. But as of now, it is ECMAScript 5, and of course you write your JavaScript and then you write your CSS. So CSS 3 and then HTML, JavaScript, and that's why it's a standards based. And I talked about shared code, right? So 100% shared code. So take a look at this particular markup that I'm showing. So in NativeScript, you write your UI as an XML file. So what you're seeing is actually a page called main. It's named as main, and the extension is .xml. But take a look at what we have given you there. So it's a simple language, XML, and page is our TNS module, which knows what to do on different platforms. So on a Windows phone, it will be phone application page. On Android, it will be an activity. On iPhone, I'm not sure because I'm not an iPhone guy. So, but the point is, you just write main.xml, and then we'll take care of everything, the rest of the things. You know, how it needs to be translated in the different platform. And we also provide you layouts. What you're seeing there is a grid layout where you have the rows and columns, and if you see here it says rows, so there are 3 rows. Auto star auto, that means first row will have the auto height depending on whatever is the content of that particular first row, and the second one is spills whatever is available. The third one is again auto, and then in the first row we have placed the segmented bar. If you see here, it says a segmented bar, and then we have today, tomorrow, next as a entry in the segmented bar, and then there is a list view which fills up this. And then notice a typical JavaScript kind of syntax binding here. So we are using the mustache kind of a syntax, that is double curly brace open, and then you put a data binding expression, and then the double curly brace close. So that's as simple as it is. So this is the only UI you will have, or UI file that you will have, and we will make sure it runs on the platforms that we are supporting, that is Android and iOS, and then slowly we'll also do that for Windows Universal. And then NativeScript makes the magic, right? You know, as you can see here, we will be coming out with currently what you're seeing is in iOS, and then the Android, and then the Windows also. So Windows is going to come later in the year. But this is the magic that we do. That's what NativeScript will do. So next question would be, how does it work, right? So basically, this is a very high level block diagram to just keep it simple. I know we have it something like this in our documentation also. You start out with your application code, which is nothing but your ECMAScript or the JavaScript that you are writing, right? And then what you do is you interact with either NativeScript modules, or you interact with the NativeScript runtime directly. Maybe you wanted the runtime to give you the date time, all those things, and then NativeScript modules such as button, page, data binding, we have an observable array, we have an observable object. So all this, goodness, that is there are certain controls that are available that we give you. So you don't have to worry about button as an iOS button or a button as an Android button. Just write against the button of Telerik NativeScript module, and then that particular Telerik NativeScript module called button knows what to do on what platform, right? But for you, it's always a single thing. That's the button. Similarly, there are other modules like file. So as you know, the file system is completely. I think I have a slide, so I'm going to talk about that next. But this is the simplest block diagram that we have. Application code. That's your JavaScript. You're always working against the NativeScript modules or NativeScript runtime, and the runtime knows what to do on Android OS, and then iOS. And where did my slide go? Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. So this is an example of a Telerik NativeScript module called file. If you ever have to work with a file in your NativeScript application, you just have to say require file system. We will give you the file, and you can. We'll give you the file system module, and then in the file system module, you just have to say .file and then give a path. So what exactly is happening? As you know, Android is a Java, so we go and translate that into, he's actually looking for java.io.file, and here is the path. So we will do that callback during, using reflection. We'll do that callback to that particular, the module, the file module of native. And then on iOS, what we do is we just do NS file manager, the default manager, and then file manager that create file at path content attribute. So this is basically the low level code that otherwise you would have to do for different platforms, right? So we shield that using the TNS TNS modules, and I'm showing an example of file. Similarly, HTTP module, right? So there's a different syntax that you would have to do on an Android, and there's a different syntax that you would have to do on an iOS. But if you program with our NativeScript, what we do is we just give you, like, you just have to say require HTTP. So you got the HTTP module, and then we have certain methods on that, like get JSON. So what I'm doing is I'm just hitting a particular API or a particular URL, and then I'm saying, hey, and notice that it understands the promises, right? JavaScript, it's all about the promise. So the get JSON actually returns a promise, and then we are saying, hey, wait for that promise, and then when everything has been done, like the data has been read, then execute this, and then there's a callback called function, and it is expecting a result. Result will be a JSON object, and then you can then do whatever you want. So this is as simple as it can get with NativeScript. You don't have to worry about the underlying calls of the specific platform, but as long as you work with our NativeScript modules, you're good to go. So you just have to say require whatever module, and then notice that it follows the NPM ways of doing things. So, you just have to say require and then whatever module, and then you get it. So that's another thing. So if you're coming from a Node background, it's going to be very familiar to you. It's nothing new. The Node guys always do this, require a particular module, and then you start coding against that. So that's what we are doing here. So how to get started? Well, there are two ways to get started. Basically, we have something called as Telerik platform. Telerik platform is a to Z of mobility. We provide you A to Z components for mobile platforms if you want to go mobile. So that starts from prototyping to application building, to backend as a service, to analytics, to mobile testing, feedback, mobile application management, so you name it. So we give you the complete mobility landscape under one platform, and we call it as Telerik platform. Another one is known as NativeScript command line interface, or CLI. So if you have used PhoneGap to build hybrid mobile apps, so PhoneGap is now completely CLI, or command line interface. So you just have to go to command prompt and say PhoneGap create a particular, give it a name. So hello world. So and then PhoneGap goes ahead and then scaffolds the whole project onto your file system. So that's the two ways in which you can work with NativeScript, either a command line interface, and then mind you, NativeScript as a technology is open source. We don't charge you for that. So Telerik platform is completely different. Telerik platform has an IDE called as App Builder. It's an integrated development environment. So that IDE or the Telerik platform is it's basically a fee-based, or it's a license-based. It's an enterprise license-based. So per developer, you need to have a subscription. Whereas if you go NativeScript CLI, as I said, NativeScript as a technology is open source, and then CLI is also open source. So you just go to npm node package manager on your command prompt and just say install -g globally NativeScript, and then you will have the NativeScript CLI installed on your machine, right? So today what I'm going to do is I've already set up the CLI on my machine, so I'm going to just quickly walk through how do you create an app. But we will be actually focusing more on Telerik platform app builder, the IDE called app builder, because that is so cool. I do not have to get into command prompt at all. Everything can be done like an IDE, like a Visual Studio or an Eclipse kind of stuff within the Telerik platform app builder. So as I said, Telerik platform, backend as a service, analytics, app builder. So this is cloud build. So you can do a you can build iOS apps on Windows Phone apps on a Mac. So that's how cool this particular service is. So NativeScript debugging and tooling, automated app testing, and everything. So you can go to platform that, as you can see, telerik.com/platform. If you go there, you'll get more information. And NativeScript CLI, as I said, is a free and open source. You can go to github.com NativeScript/NativeScript.CLI to see the source code. And some of the requirements is already mentioned in the site itself. So you can go to www.nativescript.org, or you can directly go to the GitHub and then check out the requirements. So on a Windows machine, you can always do only Android. You cannot do a build of iOS because of the restrictions, meaning you need to have Xcode CLI tools, iOS SDK. So on a Windows machine, you cannot have that. Whereas on a Windows machine, you can always have the Java JDK and the Android SDK. So you pretty much need to have JDK, Apache, and the Android SDK so that you can build the native Android app on a Windows machine. If you want to use NativeScript and then build iOS, you need to be on a Macintosh, and you will need the NativeScript CLI. That's the command line interface. Then you need the Xcode, you need the iOS SDK there, and then you can go to the command line and say TNS and build, and then it will build the IPA or the iOS package. So starting a new project, it's simple. You first do the npm install of the NativeScript, then you just have to go to the command line and say TNS create hello world. That's all. What it will do is our Telerik NativeScript will scaffold a particular project for you, and then you get started with that. And then you do a cd hello world, and then you come in and then say hey, what platforms do you want to add? So you just have to say TNS platform, add the platform name, iOS or the Android. Right, and then if you want to run, you can always say TNS run iOS and then -- emulator. So what it will do is it will bring up the native emulator, whatever you have, and then it will deploy the app on that, and then you'll get that. So basically what you're seeing is actually the hello world application that we ship when you do a TNS create hello world. So the scaffolding that happens is this. There's a button, you keep clicking on that, and then it will show how many tabs are left of the button, how much you can click again. Similarly, you can do TNS platform add Android, and then you can say TNS run Android -- emulator, so it will bring up the native emulator. I think I will, my machine is currently is kind of not set up for this. I don't know what happened, but the AVD manager is not letting the looks like some image problem or something, so I'm not able to bring up even the native emulator. So we'll see how to do a demo. And this is how a typical project structure will be of the TNS or the Telerik NativeScript technology. So you have the app resources, then you have the app.css, app.js. So app.js is the starting point. And then so whatever page you want to create, you just have to say page.js, page.xml, page.css. That is as simple as you can get. So app.js is usually the public static void main kind of thing. So that's the starting point. So the TNS runtime, Telerik NativeScript runtime, will always look for this particular app.js, and then from there you say, hey, you know what? My main page or my initial page is main-page, or you have to set that up. We'll go through that. And then if you see there, if you want any node modules, you can do an npm get me a module. So you can use npm package manager and then get that. And then we also have a TNS module. So this is where we package all our TNS modules inside your app. And as you can see, there's an application TNS module, there's a color TNS module, all those things. So this is a typical structure what you see. And this is what the app.js looks like. You'll say where application is equal to require application. So that when we say require application, that is bringing in the TNS module called application. And then you will say, hey, application, the main module is main-page. Notice you do not have to say XML or a JavaScript or a CSS. We understand that, hey, when we say main-page, it's actually there's an XML called main page, and then it has a code behind called main-page.js, and then it has styling in a main-page.css. So that's how we typically do. And you call the start, and then it starts. The application starts. So how do you create markup, page markup? So there are certain page markup structures in XML. For example, page, label. These are all actually TNS module, but in the XML page, you will always say page, a label, and that's it. Your one screen is done. You're now a native mobile app developer. That is as easy as it can get. And how do you do a data binding? Basically, you can do a label text, and then, as I said, curly brace open, curly brace close, message. And notice what we are doing in the load function. So when the page loads, we are setting a binding context onto the page, and that binding context is nothing but a JSON object, and it has one property called message, and message has a text called hello world. So typically when you run this code, you will see hello world coming up on your page or the screen. So maybe you want to do an observable kind of a data binding. So what you can do is you can use our observable module. We give you this observable module in the TNS module section. So you just have to say require data/observable, and then you can create a observable data called, variable called data, and it's an observable, and you do a set and give the property name and the value. So at runtime, if somebody changes that data property, message property of the data object, the screen will be updated accordingly. So that's an observable thing. And of course CSS. So we give you the typical CSS things that you want to do. If you see here for the label, I have actually given a color red. So the foreground will be red. Font size is 20 pixels. Width is 200 pixel. Margin is 20 pixels. So that is how you do a styling. So now let's get on to quickly demo time. So what I'm going to do is, looks like my Genymotion has not come up. Okay, and let me see if I can get, just give me a second, I'm just trying to see if I can mirror my, we'll see how to do a demo. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to a particular folder, this particular folder. So here I'm going to come in now and then say TNS create hello world. And then what it does is now it's going to go scaffold the whole NativeScript project called Hello World for us, and then basically it will have a button, and that button has a code behind or has a logic to it. So in a JavaScript file, all we are doing is we are counting the number of or decrementing the number of clicks that you can have. So I think we provide up to 40 clicks or something just as a demo. So now what it has done is it said project Hello World was successfully created. So let's go and then look at what it has now. So there you go. If you see here, it says Hello World, but what it has done is it has just created a bunch of things. Let me open this in a Sublime. So I can go here and then say open this folder. So let me bring up Sublime. I will close all these guys. File, open folder, and select folder. And then so now what it has done is, so if you see here, there's an app folder and there's a platforms folder, and the platforms folder is empty because we still haven't told our CLI, our NativeScript runtime, what is the platform that we want to support. So but in the meantime, let's take a look at the code itself. So as I said, there's an app.js, and in the app.js, all we are saying is, hey, we require this TNS module called application. It has and the current application's main module itself is main page, and application.css file is in the root there is a forward we're saying in the root find the app.css, and then we say application start. So let's take a look at main page.xml first. So in the main page.xml, if you see, we just have put a page loaded. So when the page is loaded, what is the event that needs to be fired, or what is the event handler for loaded event? And then I have a stack layout, and stack layout is nothing but it is going to stack whatever contents it has vertically or horizontally. So in this case it's vertical. So first a label will be displayed, and then a button, then a label again. So label says tap the button, and then notice the CSS class. That means if I go and then look at main page.css, sorry, app.css, you should see a CSS class called title. And here is title. So what are we doing in the title? We just said font hyphen size is equal to 30, horizontal align is center, margin is 20. So if you want to define a specific style sheet for a specific page, you should always create the page name.css, so TNS runtime will pick it up. Otherwise, the whole application CSS can be kept in app.css. It's a similar concept as what you have been doing in your web world. And then there is a button, and we say button tap, and tap event. We are having an event handler called tap action. And then there is a label, message, and then there is a CSS class message, and then text wrap true. Right. And then let's take a look at the logic for this. Where is the logic? So the logic is in a file called main-page.js. So there's somebody is asking if I have 10 pages, so do I need to create CSS for each page? That's what you're not. I don't think you got me correctly. What I said was, if you have common styles for 10 pages, you just need to put it in app.css file, and then that's a single file. If you have 10 pages and then 10 pages need different styling for each page, so that's when you will create 10 different CSS files. So it's up to you, it's up to your project, it's up to your needs, how you want to do it. But everything is, if I create an app.css and then put everything here, so all the pages get the CSS class from this particular app.css. It's like a hierarchy. If a particular page has a the hierarchy is like, if I have a main-page .xml, so the TNS runtime will look for main-page.css. If it is there, he's going to load all the CSS classes from there and then put it onto the, that's what it will be referenced from. Otherwise, he will go and then look for app.css. So that's the hierarchy. So the page and then the global, that is the app.css. So now if I come back to the main-page.js, so first thing that I'm going to do is we're going to look at this later. So this is the view model. So this is typically what you do in JavaScript is like, you have this concept of MVVM where the model, the view model, and then the the view. So what we are trying to say here is the main-page.js is actually the companion for the main-page.xml. And remember, in the main page XML, we had this loaded is equal to page loaded. So that means page object has a loaded event, and when the loaded event fires, we want the page loaded event handler to be handling that event. So in the main-page, that's what we have done. We have set function page loaded. We'll be sending some arguments. So that arguments in this case is the page itself. So what we are doing is we are grabbing the page, and then we are setting a binding context. So that's nothing but the data binding. So at the page level, we set a particular object so that any child objects can infer properties from the context. So what we have said is page.binding context is equal to vmmodule.main module. So now this is where we need to take a look at this line which says where VM module is equal to require, and in the same directory we have main-view.module. So remember, this is not something that we have invented as Telerik. Now this is the ECMAScript syntax. Okay, so you just have to say require, and then if you say ./main-view-module, the ECMAScript specification is that the JavaScript engine need to understand that there may be a file called main-view-module.js. It has to load that. So that is what we have done. And notice here I have a main.view-module.js file. So this is my business logic layer. So what I have done is I've created an observable here. So require data-/observable hello world module. So I've created a hello world module function and then all those things. So there is a constructor here, and I'm creating a tap action. So in the tap action, what I'm doing is I'm just decrementing the counter. So this dot counter is here. If you see here in the constructor, we have gone ahead and then said this dot counter is equal to 42. So every time the screen loads up, we have set the counter to 42, and we have created the message as a observable. If you see here, where's the message? Yeah, we have set this dot set message. So on this particular hello world itself, we are keeping the message property, and then that's going to be an observable property, right? And then we are just doing this dot set. Whenever you tap, we decrement it, and then we'll say this is the how many taps are left. And once you reach 0, we'll say, hey, hooray, you unlocked an achievement, which is the clicker achievement. And we just say exports hello world model is equal to hello world model, and exports dot main view model is equal to this particular thing. So this is how ECMAScript will define objects which can be seen outside. So if you don't do an export, this particular module will not be available to anybody else other. So that's why I'm able to do require main view model, and then I'm able to use this main view model property here. So that's what we have defined here. Okay, so this is how you do it. And in the CLI world, just give me a second, some warning has come up for me, update available. Okay, that's nothing. So in the CLI world, what I can do is, if you let's go back to the, so I can do a TNS run to run the in the emulator, or if I have a Genymotion, so I can do the Genymotion run, and then you can see that. So if you see here, this is the Android, this is the left hand side is an Android, right hand side is a the iOS, and then we are running the same code, or this is the same code which can be deployed, packaged, and then deployed onto this particular platforms. So now this is about CLI. So now I'm going to show the app builder. So this is our part of our platform, Telerik mobile platform. So what you saw on the command line interface was cool. Basically many people are so used to the open source, the command line versions of things. Git, they use it to command line. They're very used to that. So that's why we have the CLI also there. And there are some guys like me, we are not that much heavy command line guys. We are still in the visual world. So we have this product called Telerik App Builder. This is part of our Telerik mobile platform. Here it's an IDE. It's an integrated development environment wherein I can come in, code, debug, simulate, package. So that's what I can do here. If you notice here, we have this, whenever I'm coming, let me zoom in. So whenever I come in and say I want to create a new project, I have options like, do you want to create a hybrid mobile application, or do you want to create a native script application? So I'm going to select native, and if you select native, to help you get started, we have so many options available. Basically, it's a hello world kind of thing. So there's a hello world, which is the button tapping example. There is a master detail, and there's a tabbed app, meaning you have tabs coming in the main page, and then each tab has its own UI, like that. So so this is the options you get in order to get started. So I'm going to select, and not only that, if you're a TypeScript guy, we also have an example of TypeScript, right? TypeScript is very good, gives you the object-oriented kind of a programming, the JavaScript, wherein you can create interfaces, you can create the class saying like this class depends on that interface, and then it gives you the type checking, all those things. So if you want to go with TypeScript, you can always do that. We allow you to do that. So I'm going to select JavaScript now, and then I'll select a workspace, and then I will say hello world NS demo, and I'll say create. Remember what we saw in the CLI? We're going to see the same stuff now. So now, okay, the project is getting created. Looks like my internet is flaky now. There we go. So we have the project created. The same structure what we had in the CLI. It's the same thing, but here you get a kind of a what should I say? This is IDE. I come from Microsoft world, so I'm so used to Visual Studio. If you're coming from Eclipse, so you know that Eclipse is an IDE. It's an integrated development one. Similarly, for hybrid mobile application and then NativeScript mobile application, we give you an IDE called as App Builder. So within the App Builder now you can come in here. You saw me doing file new project, and I can always come in and then see the same thing. So if you see here, same app.js, same thing, then main page.js. We are doing the same stuff. Then there's a main page.xml and main view model. Okay, so now what's different? So here, let me see if so this is different. So if you see here, I can run from here in a native emulator, I can do a build. I can do a build and deploy. So currently my problem is I have an Android device, but it is 4.0.3. It's an old Android device, and then our NativeScript support is from API 17 and above. That's I believe 4.4.1 or something. You know, I keep getting confused with the hierarchy of whatever the Android things are. But yeah, so I have a Android device which is 4.0.3, but I cannot put that onto that Android device, and then I'm able to mirror only that small Android phone. I have a Nexus 10 which is running Lollipop, but the mirror program that I have, it keeps crashing on this Lollipop, so not sure what is happening. So that's where I'm kind of challenged now in order to show a demo. Let me see what I can do. I'll try to bring up the AVD manager and then see where I am with the AVD manager. Because my Genymotion, I'm not sure what has happened. It's been like this from last 1 hour. It just didn't come back. Okay, it is showing me 19. Okay, so 4.4.2, I have level 19. Okay, so let me see what we can do in our app builder. So the code was the same. The only thing that you can do extra is, like, you know, as I said, you can run a native emulator, you can run a you can build your application, so or I can do a build and deploy. When I say build, what it does, it's going to ask you, hey, what build do you want to do? Do you want to do an Android? Do you want to do an iOS? Mind you, I have not installed anything on this machine except this particular software called App Builder. So I can build an iPhone package or iOS package right within my Windows machine, because the building happens on our platform. So we take the code inside our platform. We have the iOS in the phone, the build setup with a Xcode and all those things. So we take care of all those things on the back end. So you, as a user or a developer, just come in and say, I want to build an iOS package. So I can click on this and I can say, I need an app package. And if I say next, he's going to start building it and then come back with the IPA file. So let me see if, so there you go. So what it's doing now is it's building. And let me see if I can do something. I need to do a little bit of circus. So let me see what I can do. Build on our platform, and then it will come back and then say that, hey, the APK file is done. What do you want to do? Do you want to download, or do you want to run on a machine? So there you go. So it says copy the link. Just give me a second, or let me, yeah, just give me a second. I'm going to install this APK file. Don't have to do anything. I'll also show that. So C, okay, so the store is not responding to me. The web page, okay, now I got it. So NativeScript. And here's the companion app that I was talking about. So with this, what happens is it's kind of a container, and from the app builder, what we do is we know how to push this so we'll be pushing, we know how to push this particular package from, you know, right from the app builder to, you know, to the app builder companion app. So we will be able to automatically do that. So you just come in here and then we'll be able to do that. So let me see, and I'll say next. And again, as you can see here, so first time what you'll need to do is copy this QR code, and the QR code, if you first install the NativeScript companion app on your device and then come back here, do this deploy with NativeScript companion app, you need to scan the QR code. So let me see if I can successfully can get this QR code. So where is my QR code reader? Here. Yes, I have it here. And I'm doing some circles to get the QR code running. Because it has, my Nexus has only the front camera. It doesn't have a rear camera. I think it figured out. Yes. So let me see if I can project it. And I need some light. Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to get my projection going on. Just give me a second. So project my screen. Yes. And what you're seeing here is, on my screen, I'm actually using my Windows phone. So if you see here, I'm using my Windows phone to project my Android device. So this is a NativeScript that comes up. I can invoke the NativeScript here. Okay, it looks like I have a deployment problem, so we'll come back to that. Yeah, so I have a deployment problem, invalid URL. Okay, but yeah, you get the point. So basically, you can create it and then run it on this particular thing. So let me see if I have any application that I've already. Yeah, so if you notice here, I already have something called as NS Hello World. It says it has a NativeScript logo. So let me click on that. And let me see if I will get that app running. Well, it's taking some time, but yeah, I'm extremely sorry about that. Looks like I'm not set up for my, I don't know what happened with Genymotion and then all those things. So you get the point. So basically, this is how easy it is to code. I'm just showcasing a simple example. Oh, we got the. So let me get the projection. Because project my screen. Yes, and here is the same demo that we have written. It says tap the button. So I'm sorry about the display. So I can go and then tap, and it says 41 tap left or something like that. And I can keep tapping it. And if you see here, it says 34 taps left. So that's what we just did. That is, we took the code, just a JavaScript, and then we converted that into an APK. So this is how easy it is. Just a JavaScript file, an XML for the UI, and then if you want a CSS, and then you can do all the crazy stuff, like you can use the observable. And then if you expand this particular app resources, and so the normal things about application related things, that is all the images, everything can be kept here, right? So that's kind of a quick intro into what is the NativeScript is all about. I will try to come out with maybe a video where we'll have everything kind of done correctly. So let me see if I can launch this emulator, but it will take time to get this emulator up, because as you know, it's very slow. Sorry about the demo part of things, but I hope you are excited in terms of looking at this and then giving it a try. So now we're going to stop the recording, and so let me first say thanks, and then we'll get into the Q&A. So thank you very much for spending time with us. This is my coordinates. If you want to know more about this technology, just write to us. lohit.nagaraj@telrik.com. I'm available at Twitter as Kashyapa. So thank you very much, and then we look forward to you, future webinars also. Let's stop the recording now.